You may have heard that there is no way to stop the inevitable decline of testosterone levels in your bloodstream as you age. But I know from my own labs that's not true. Let's talk about this 2013 paper by Walter Miller called Steroid Hormone Synthesis in Mitochondria, so we can understand the mechanisms from which sex hormones are synthesized and how to take care of ourselves to maintain healthy levels of testosterone. The first misconception that needs to be corrected relates to LDL cholesterol. People with very low levels of LDL cholesterol also have low levels of testosterone. And that's because it is LDL cholesterol from which all sex hormones are synthesized. The LDL cholesterol in your bloodstream, the very same cholesterol that most medical doctors say is going to give you a heart attack, even though we know that's not true, is essential for maintaining proper sex hormone levels. It must move out of the bloodstream and across the cell membrane inside the cell, or it has no hope of crossing the outer mitochondrial membrane and the inner mitochondrial membrane to meet an enzyme called P450SCC. The really interesting thing about this enzyme, which cleaves a hydrocarbon chain off the cholesterol to make a sex steroid called pregnenolone, from which all the other sex hormones are derived. The really interesting thing about P450SCC is that it is named for the wavelength of light that it absorbs, 450 nanometers. That light, which is blue, will not penetrate the skin more than a millimeter. It will not reach the mitochondria inside your cells, where the P450SCC will create pregnenolone from LDL cholesterol. So you gotta ask yourself, where is the blue light that P450SCC responds to? It is likely in the mitochondria. When your mitochondria, for example, in your brown fat cells, are active, they have no choice but to produce light inside your cells, because the action of the electron transport chain, from which the mitochondria either produce heat or ATP, because that action involves the exchange of electrons, it also involves the production of light. Some of that light is 450 nanometers in wavelength. The P450SCC must absorb it. That's what it does. And it is likely that that light produced when the mitochondria are active help stimulate the function of the P450SCC that turns LDL cholesterol into pregnenolone, from which your body can metabolize testosterone, estradiol, and all the other sex hormones that your proper sex function relies upon. So, the next time you hear somebody tell you that you cannot increase low testosterone levels without TRT, give therapies that target your mitochondria a try. What would that be? Exercise, magnesium, zinc supplementation, and most of all, cold plunge therapy that will activate your brown fat, stimulate mitobiogenesis for the production of additional mitochondria, and create light inside the cell that increases the activity of the critical enzyme on that inner membrane of the mitochondria, where all sex steroid or sex hormone synthesis originates.